So the day has finally come. We kind of knew this if you've been paying attention a little bit and you had been a Google Domains customer, but we got an email today from Google Domains saying Squarespace recently announced that it's entered an agreement. It's purchasing the domains, so now it's public, fully public. People have been notified. My name is Mark Szymanski, owner and founder of Find a Tech, a WordPress web development agency. I like to talk about things that affect me and other devs like yourself probably. So let's talk about this one because I had all of my Google domains on, or all my domains on Google Domains. Also recommended to my customers a lot. And now we need to do something because you have options, obviously. If you read this email, we're not going to go through it entirely, but basically, what happens? Nothing really. You don't have to do anything. You can just kind of just like, take the tide over to Squarespace. What that's going to end up being long term, who knows? I don't build websites in Squarespace, so I don't want to be from my agency standpoint, everything, I don't want to be associated with Squarespace. We do everything on WordPress. So it just doesn't really make sense to me to have it over there. It's obviously an option though. They say that they're going to, publicly committed to utilizing Google Cloud DNS and all that other stuff. So maybe your domain will continue to be the same price and maybe all that for a couple years or whatever. But if you go that route, please update me. Let me know how it goes. I wish the best for you, but I'm not going to stick around to see that. And I think a lot of other people are in the same boat. So what I want to talk about in this video is really kind of three things. Obviously announce that and kind of talk about, the potential there for, if you go that route. I don't know too much about it because nobody does. The next thing I want to talk about is just briefly your other options that you could have, which are vast. I mean, I'm not going to get into most of them. Really, though, what I want to get into is I've moved all of mine. Spoiler: I've moved all of mine except like two of them over to Cloudflare already, and there's just like one or two like little tiny things that I haven't seen elsewhere that I would just like to educate you guys on, as far as moving from Google Domains to Cloudflare, just to make life a little easier, because I haven't seen too much like tutorial in that regard. So if you want to skip to that part, I'll put chapters in the bottom and everything like that. But the beginning of this video is just going to be a little bit me talking about kind of this thing, maybe a little bit of opinion and stuff like that. So just getting into it and just trying to run through this. Obviously, Google Domains is going to bed. It's going to sleep. RIP. It was a great thing. Let's think about briefly, I think this is important, why we were using and recommending Google Domains. It was convenient and it was affordable. $12 a year for .coms, that's a great deal when you look at like GoDaddy and all these other places that are like Squarespace as well, like $20 a year for like a random .com or whatever. It's up there. It's not a wallet like busting, but at the same time it's not $12, right? It's $8 more a year. It's definitely something to consider especially when you have a lot of domains. So that's the first thing. It's also super convenient. I loved recommending it to my clients because they already probably had a Google account and they didn't even need to like think of like another password or another login for like a GoDaddy or a Hover or anything like that. It was just like, yeah, just use Google Domains. It's really simple to use. You can share access with me and boom, we're good. So that was the reason we did it. Unfortunately, we're not going to have that anymore, but let's keep those kind of in mind as we move forward to looking for our next solution. So once I learned about this was already on my radar. And when I learned about it, I was like, what am I going to need to do, or what are my other options? I've been on Reddit, and I want to stop here because this is the part of it where I am not telling you what to do. Do not ever think of any video that I produce telling you what to do. I'm giving you like ideas, thoughts to pursue on your own. And if you like what I'm saying, and then you possibly implement it and then iterate on it yourself. But in this case, do not just move to Cloudflare just because I'm about to tell you how to move to Cloudflare and that's what I decided to do. I want you to look into other options just like I did. And I'm going to tell you, though, how I made my process. I wanted to move fast. I wanted to move fast because I have no idea how long this is going to happen. I literally, just for context, this email came yesterday and now there's this banner on top of Google Domains. I moved the day before that banner. Like I started the move the day before that banner got up there. So like it was weird coincidental timing. I want to just be fast and be done with this. I also have some other initiatives in the industry in our agency specifically that drove my decision to Cloudflare, and I'll talk about those briefly. It's really going to depend on the size of your agency, the size of your operation. If you're literally just a business and you just have Google Domains and you're not even in this industry, you're not building websites, maybe you don't want to move to Cloudflare, right? There's a ton of other options, but just think about it and put it in your specific use case and then see if it makes sense based on what I'm about to tell you. I was on Reddit. I was on a bunch of WordPress groups on Facebook. This is like pretty big news because Google Domains had like, I want to say, I might butcher this number, but I want to say like 10 million domains. I could be wrong. But a lot of domains, a lot of people use it because, again, affordable and convenient. A lot of people are in this boat. So we needed to figure out a different option. I looked at a few. To give you some context, I used Google Domains for a long time. Before that, I used name.com, which wasn't bad for for domain registrar. GoDaddy is a huge one, obviously. Not terrible for domain registrar, but if you're thinking from affordability, it is probably going to be, in the 20s. Another thing you have to worry about, and I've made other videos on this. I actually made a video about how to buy a domain on Google Domains. But the only other thing that you want to think about is when you buy that domain, make sure that your information is redacted in ICANN. And there's certain providers that do it. There's certain providers that don't do it. There's certain providers that do it for a fee. That was another thing that was just like GoDaddy. They have these add-on products. It's like, advanced privacy or, whatever privacy. It's like, you got to look into that, and some of it's kind of BS. You know what I mean? So it's, just take a look at that. What I actually found, though, from the strong consensus, I don't know if there was like a marketing push or what there was, but the strong consensus on every piece of material that I had seen in Reddit and on other thing, Porkbun, which I had not even heard of, was one of the best that I had heard as far as literally that's kind of their thing, is like an oddly satisfying experience. You wouldn't think that something named Porkbun was like a good domain registrar. I didn't, but I have nothing like bad to say about them. Truthfully, though, I haven't actually bought a domain or used this, but like everything that I've seen and everything that I've read seems like it's a good experience. And it definitely has a lot of other things too. Like it has domain, web hosting, email hosting, and all that. I don't need any of that. Like I am solid on the web hosting thing. I'll make another video because we're moving from Cloudways to GridPane. But like the email hosting as well, like I don't need any of that. I use Google unless they end up one day like killing the Google Workspace program. Then maybe I'll need something else. But I didn't need any of that. Like I know they have a lot of other things. If you're interested in this, go look at this. I just looked at it and I was like, I've been wanting to move to Cloudflare. I've been wanting to experiment with that. I've heard great things. I'm probably going to move there because that's the direction that my agency is headed in. If yours isn't, look into Porkbun. Also, I heard, a few different people say Hover is really good. That was another one that was on my radar. Look into that. But ultimately, the reason I made the decision to go to Cloudflare is because Cloudflare has like so many more like kind of products. And if you just look at kind of their pricing situation here, where is this? Just even on the pricing, like just on like is it the application? Yeah, it's this one. So they have like a free plan, and then they have Pro for $20 a month. And again, I'm not going to go through all this, but let's just talk about the free plan, okay? Because we're used to a free experience. Let's compare to a free experience. You get the DNS, you get unmetered DDoS protection, a CDN, universal SSL certificate, free managed rule set, a website application firewall. I am not going into depth here, okay? Somebody's probably going to be in the comments saying like, oh, that's just like the free version. Obviously, okay? But what I'm saying is that it gets you into the Cloudflare ecosystem, which large companies are utilizing, right? I mean, and that's something that again, really just personal preference. I've just wanted to dabble in it, see if it's worth it, see if it's not worth it. And this seems like the best possible time to do it. Not to mention the domains. You would think, oh, wow, this is like a really cool platform. There's a lot involved here. I bet you that if you transfer a domain there, it's like $40 for a .com. No, it's wholesale price. It's like less than $10. It's like $9.18 or something is a lot of the ones that I've transferred. So it's a weird experience. Like it's like you expect it to be even more money. I actually think these prices are quite affordable for some of the stuff they're giving you here. And I don't know. I'm still feeling it out, but this is the direction that I'm going for now. The one other thing that I just thought of, because I remembered this from yesterday, is you may want to go to WordPress.com. And I'm going to show you why here. So if you go to WordPress.com/domains right now, this is August 16th of 2023. I don't know how long this is going to be happening. WordPress.com, which could make a whole nother video on. I wouldn't recommend doing WordPress.com, operating off of this. However, side note for a different video, they are a domain registrar. Like they have, some level of domain registrar like in this as well, right? And you can purchase them directly from there if you were going to do the business of, the commercialized version of WordPress and everything. They have a banner right now and a promotion, if you will, coming from Google Domains, transfer now and we'll pay for an extra year of registration. A lot of people don't know about this yet. I've seen it in a couple groups, but you can transfer it in and it looks like they're going to give you a year free. Now, what is it going to cost after? I have no idea. Like, when you go to renew or whatever, like if you're paid through, let's say June of 24, I'm assuming the way this works is that you transfer it in and you get June of 2025. You get that year free. Sounds like a great deal if you have a lot of domains. I had about like 15 to 20. So I can't justify like 130, 150, whatever the number is like there. I can't really justify that to move these things twice, but I know people that have like 300, they're saving thousands of dollars, maybe an idea. So look into that. But you're going to have to move them again if you don't want to leave them there. So it's whatever. Anyway, that's an option. If you're considering that and you have a lot of domains or you just want some free time, maybe just go there. And I'm sure that process is quite simple, but I'm 100% sure that it's only from Google Domains. You can't just get this from anyone, just any random registrar moving into here. They're taking advantage of great marketing play. Fantastic. Scooping up the people from Google Domains to incentivize them to use that. I am not going to. If you want to do that, take a look at another tutorial on how to do that. What I want to do is, again, just kind of reiterate that I'm moving to Cloudflare. Position in our business, we are moving from Cloudways to GridPane. GridPane has a lot of other stuff. I'll make another video on it. But really like the people over there, like the mission. And they have a direct integration with Cloudflare on like the DNS and everything like that. I also need a new domain registrar. And I also want to experiment with like the CDN, potentially the image optimization, things like that Cloudflare also offers, and like just the DDoS protection, everything like that. So I'm playing around with it, and that's where we're headed. Now, this part of the video, that is pretty much everything I have there. If you have questions or comments, throw them in the comments down below. What I want to do for the rest of this video is just show you what my experience has been like moving to Cloudflare, and just like literally like there's one it's not really that hard. People say that Cloudflare and Porkbun, I don't understand how Porkbun, they say this about it, but Cloudflare is definitely a different type of thing. There is no, like the rest of this video is going to be kind of technical and just the things that I've learned, because I knew nothing about Cloudflare 2 days ago, and now I know like enough to actually get the things on there and like understand like kind of where stuff is and how to operate it to a minimal degree. And that's probably going to be you if you're in the same boat as me, which I think a lot of people are. But that's going to be the rest of this video, is talking about that. Because it is a little bit more, I don't want to call it techie, but there's a little bit more to it than there is in other domain registrars. So I'm going to assume at this point right now, you were like me, you hadn't made a Cloudflare account. I'm going to show you this is not going to be a comprehensive tutorial because I'm not a Cloudflare salesperson and I've been using it for less than a week. But I am going to tell you kind of the steps that I took. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to sign up. It's a free account. There's no like pricing to like be a part of this and get like the dash. We'll talk about pricing once we're inside here and when we get to that step. But inherently, I have not paid Cloudflare a dime other than domain registrar fees. So I just want to make that clear, like out of the box. So sign up. You'll probably have to verify your email. It's a normal sign up process. There's nothing crazy there. Just go to cloudflare.com, sign up, and then you will be into your dashboard. Now, your dashboard's not going to look like this. I got a bunch of like websites and everything in here, domains and all that. It's going to be blank. This is where it gets confusing if you've never used it before, because I was like, I want to be able to register a domain or transfer a domain. But if you find in this thing here, where you can probably see like over here on the left, like domain registration, you can see manage, transfer, and register. Register kind of makes sense because you're going to get it from there. But at first, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to transfer. So you go to transfer domains. And then right here, it's going to say you currently have no domains available for transfer. And you're like, well, yeah, because I want to transfer it in. Where can I type in what I want? Because over on Google Domains, it's very simple. You just say transfer if you've ever done that. The point is, that is not the way that Cloudflare works. The way that Cloudflare works, from everything I've understood, and maybe it changes at higher levels, I do not know, is you cannot have a domain in Cloudflare. You cannot, for a domain to be registered in Cloudflare, the name servers of that domain need to be pointed to Cloudflare. That's actually kind of like one of the points of Cloudflare, it seems like, is because that's where all of their product is, if that makes sense. Like when the name servers are pointed to Cloudflare, that's where you're getting like all the bang for your buck with the product and everything. So to transfer this, I was like, what do you do there? Well, it's really simple. all you have to do is you go over to websites, and then you're like, why am I adding a website? It doesn't matter. It'll make sense. Here's what you want to do. You have a domain over at Google Domains. I will show you exactly the one we're going to transfer right now. I have markjosephszymanski.com still over at Google Domains, registered here and everything like that. I'm just going to simply copy that domain name. I'm going to come back into Cloudflare. I am in the websites tab, not the domain registration tab. I'm in the websites tab. I am going to add a site here on the right side. I'm going to enter a domain because you're adding a website to Cloudflare to accelerate and protect, via Cloudflare. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click that. I'm going to put, all I did was put in that domain that I have over in Google Domains here. Also, big thing that I probably should have said earlier. The way that I'm doing this, I'm getting no downtime on the site because of this little specific thing that I'm telling you how to do here. And it's going to happen kind of fast, so I'm going to try to explain it to you. What I should say right now is I have not touched anything on Google Domains. My name servers at Google Domains are default, and I have like A records and MX records and all that stuff in there, right? So it's all in there. I haven't touched anything. And if you want like a full thing here, the website still works. We'll come back to this in a second. It works, right? All right. So back to this. We put our domain name in here. We're going to press free. Just do the free plan. You can always upgrade, right? So free plan. Then the next thing it's going to do is it's going to tell you all this stuff. It's going to say, remove the current name servers that you have in this box down here. And because it's default to Google Domains, and it's going to say replace them with the other name servers that it gives you. And I'm assuming those are unique. I could be completely wrong, but it's going to give you 2 name servers that you're going to replace the other ones with. This is the part right here. I know it came fast, but this is the part. If you didn't change your name servers already, like if you would have known about this and you would have changed your name servers, you are not going to get the beautiful benefit of what just happened right there. It automatically scanned markjosephszymanski.com. It scanned the DNS over in Google Domains, and it brought in those records. So now those records are in Cloudflare. And like when you do this a bunch of times, you're like changing name servers and stuff like that. If you change all the name servers first, then you're not going to get the benefit of this. So this is like beautiful. This is like the main point of this video here is it brings in those name servers. So just let it and then press continue, because those are the exact same, it brings in those records. Those are the exact same records that are over there on Google Domains right now. Press continue, and then it's going to come back and say, okay, now you have to change your name servers. Okay, cool, no problem. So we'll go over to Google Domains. We'll go into our, Google Domains. We'll go into our DNS, and we will, at the top here, instead of doing default name servers, we're going to do custom name servers, and we're going to just paste in where it says down here, add Cloudflare's name servers. We're going to paste in the first one and the second one. So we have those name servers in there. We're going to save them. So again, all we did here was we just changed from the default name servers at Google Domains to the custom name servers. Last step is we switch to these settings up here, because it's like, this is really nice that you can switch back and forth, and you can like keep obviously the settings in both. We're going to switch to the custom name server settings. It's going to take a little bit of time to propagate. We're going to come over here and we're going to say done, check name servers. It says it could take 24 hours. To me, it's always taken like maybe 5 minutes. And then down here, this is like a quick start guide. You can change these settings as you want, but if we go through them, automatic HTTPS rewrites, it's on by default. Just I'll leave it. I've been turning this one on. I'll always redirect HTTP to HTTPS. Admittedly, don't know if that's the right way to go, but I think HTTPS is the way. And then Brotally, I just leave it as default. Look into those, because I don't necessarily know. I haven't gotten there yet. It's not really part of this. Okay, so now we have what's happening right now behind the scenes is that your domain over on Google Domains is switching name servers from the default ones to the Cloudflare ones. And then on the Cloudflare side of it, it's like, okay, I know markjosephszymanski.com is now going to be protected, and we're going to try to protect and accelerate this. So we're looking over to that domain that's still registered at Google Domains. And we're saying, okay, we have the name servers for this now, so we're checking the name servers. We're making sure everything is good to go. So it'll say, if you check it again, I'll say Cloudflare is checking the name servers, da da da. I want to show you how to know, because it might take longer or shorter for you. If you come over back to your websites tab, remember we're not in the registration section yet. We have to do this first. If you're in the websites tab and you look down here at markjoszymanski.com or whatever your domain name is, all the other ones will say active if you have more. This one, it says pending name server update. So we did that over there. We added the site here. We made sure all the records and everything came over. We changed the name servers over on Google Domains, and in a few minutes, you're going to get an email saying that the record has been, or the site has been added and activated on the free plan in Cloudflare. I'll show you when it comes through, and that'll say active. All right, so just like I said, this is the email that you're going to expect to get after you add it as a site on that free plan and you do the name server switch. It's going to say your domain is now active on the Cloudflare free plan. Awesome. That's fine. That's just a notification. The website still works. And then I want to show you this is before I ran a hosting checker thing before, just so you can kind of like get a visual. Before it was the Constant company, which is Vulture. And once it fully like propagates and does everything and like moves over to Cloudflare and gets proxied. So there's like that middleman between your hosting, and the actual, Cloudflare's sitting as the middleman there. This is another website. It's going to say Cloudflare Inc. This is one that's already on there. Cloudflare Inc. It'll say the name servers, everything like that. And, it'll be Cloudflare. They won't even know where your thing is hosted, because that's the point of Cloudflare to accept, part of it is that middleman thing. So that's that. If we go back over to Cloudflare, we reload the page, we're going to see now that instead of saying pending name server update, it says active. You should see that as well if you're at this step. And now where we're at now is we have that website in Cloudflare. It is being protected for free via Cloudflare on that free plan. Again, we could talk more about the plans, but that's where you're at. Well, we're not at, you still have the problem though. Google domain, like that domain that you just did, or in this case, markjoszymanski.com, is still registered at Google Domains. So how do we fix that? Also, let me throw in a point here. Like if you were doing this some other way, you could host somewhere else. You could still use Cloudflare and just move your domain somewhere else if you're in this Google Domains problem, or you could just be anywhere. Cloudflare is not like, you don't have to host it at Cloudflare, or you don't have to register your domain at Cloudflare, but you do have to, in order to get it to work like this, you have to have the name servers, set up accordingly and everything like that. So this is kind of like a two-part tutorial, but this is the real meat and potatoes right here. So how do we transfer this domain now that we've added it? Because you have to add it in order to transfer it. So we go to Google Domains, we go to registration settings on our domain there specifically. We scroll to the bottom, we unlock the domain. And don't ever do that if you're not ready to transfer it. I have to say that, look at the warnings there, but unlock it and then press Get Auth Code. Once you press Get Auth Code, it's going to come up with a pop-up most likely. Put in your password for this Google account, and then another pop-up is going to come up and it's going to give you your auth code. Copy that auth code. Don't share it with anybody, but copy it. So like I said, pop-up, it's going to say transfer it out to a different registrar. Go ahead and click the copy button on that auth code. So once we have that copied to our clipboard, now we're going back to Cloudflare, our dashboard. We're going to go domain registration here, and we're going to say transfer domains. Now what you're going to see is something different. Because you have one website, assumingly, you're in that setup. You have one website. I have one website that is not, the domain is not registered. So it's like, oh, well, there's a website out there that's associated with Cloudflare, and we don't have that domain registered with us. You could transfer that one in, right? So the first thing it's going to say here, and you're going to probably see this because I normally do it in a little bit of reverse order, but I just wanted to make sure that you kind of had everything in order depending on where you're at. It's probably going to say right now, registry status, client transfer prohibited, please unlock and allow a few hours to update. It's never taken a few hours for me, but the reason that it says that is because we just clicked the unlock button. So I'm going to give it like 5 minutes, and then it's going to change, and I'll be back as soon as that happens. All right, so we're back. Full transparency, that took about an hour and a half, but it is midday right now. It is just about noon. Started this obviously like an hour and a half ago. When I was doing these at night, Eastern Standard Time, probably around 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., it was a lot faster for like Google to recognize, or Cloudflare to recognize that Google we unlocked the domain over at Google. So your mileage may vary there, but if you're doing it certain times, or I don't know what affects it. But the point is, at some point you will unlock it. It will be available here. You'll be able to come to transfer domains. It will show up like the domain that you're available to transfer, or multiple or whatever, and you'll be able to do it. So let's continue. So we have our markjosemansky.com domain name here, and let's just briefly talk about what this is saying here. Current expiration date. Every time, pretty much every single time, I think the common practice is you add a year because you're like paying for another year. So right now it would expire on July 31st, 2024, which is like, almost a full year from now. The new expiration, once I transfer it, it's going to be another year because I'm going to pay Cloudflare to register it for another year and start the auto renewal like at Cloudflare, in addition to the transfer. Notice this. Notice the price. Wholesale costs $8.97 and 18-cent ICANN fee. So again, it was $12 over at Google Domains. It is $9.15 here. That's a pretty good deal in my opinion. So we confirm the domain that we want to transfer. Right here is where you put in the auth code that you got from Google Domains. So you can drop that in there. One cool thing about this auth code is that if it's right, it's going to give you a little check like right away. There's no second guessing or anything. And if it's wrong, it's going to give you an X and tell you right away that it's the wrong auth code. I've done this before on other domain registrars, and that just seems like a cool feature that you don't always see. So you'll know right away that it's the right auth code, just in case there's any questioning whatsoever. You go ahead and confirm, and then this is where you put in your ICANN contact information. I guess it's somewhat important to note because I wasn't sure of this. This does not have to match what you currently have. So this is another great opportunity. Like maybe you need to just update your contact information from whenever you bought it, like a few years ago or something in Google Domains. You can put in new information here and just update it. It doesn't need to like match the stuff that's coming in. There's no verification there. It's just we are transferring it and we're going to kind of re-register it almost in ICANN in a way, at least the contact part, because it's at a different registrar now. You can feel free to put accurate, but you can put new information in. And then you confirm and finalize the transfer. All right, fantastic. So now our transfers are underway. We're going to do one more step here so you can get rolling as fast as possible. Normally, if you've ever transferred a domain, it takes probably like 5 days if you just let it do it. It says it in there. There's a way to circumvent that and speed it up. We're going to talk about that right now. But this page comes up once you do it, and then you're going to get a couple emails. The first email is going to say you requested a transfer. Awesome. They're working on it. Fantastic. The next one is going to be your receipt for the year, like just the $9.15 or whatever it is. Awesome. You can get rid of both of those emails. The important one is the Google Domains email that you're going to get if you're coming from Google Domains. It says you're transferring your domain out of Google Domains. And if you want to do it right now and be done with it, I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. Just real quick, if we go back to Cloudflare and we go to Manage Domains, you'll see that on the domain, depending on how big your list is here, it'll say pending transfer currently. And I'm just showing you that now because once we do the thing over at Google Domains via this email, it's going to change. So if we come back into the email, we just press cancel or approve transfer. Not the best UI in my opinion, but okay. So it comes up, goes directly to Google Domains. It says transfer your domain from Google Domains. If you press cancel, you're going to cancel it. If you press transfer, it'll do it right now. So if you press transfer, it's going to say at the bottom, it should say you have approved this transfer. And then the thing is, the domain is still going to be, the UI and the updating from everything that I've experienced over these past couple days is not great. Like it says that it's transferred and it's done, but the domain actually just stays like appearing in Google Domains for from what I've seen, like basically I was doing it at night, so it's like overnight. So probably like multiple hours, maybe like even like 24 hours, the domain will be in there. So don't get worried about that you clicked that. I've done this, like I said, this happened to me. I clicked that and I was like, why didn't the domain move? And then I was like, well, what's going on? But it'll be gone. It'll take care of itself. Don't worry about that. What you will know, what you will get, and what you will confirm that is once you click the transfer thing. Don't know exactly how long it'll take. Normally, in my experience, it's been pretty quick. You will get another email that says your transfer has been complete. And then over on this side, it'll say active instead of pending transfer on the actual managing domains. So actually, I already got it. Look at that. So your transfer to Cloudflare Registrar has been completed. If you come back over here and we reload this page, it should say active rather than pending transfer. Yes, it does. Awesome. That's it. All right, so I'm sure that was probably a long video. I wanted to make sure that I got all the details in there, though. Gave you a lot of context because this was my first time doing it, and it's a little bit more involved than a regular domain registrar, and I hadn't seen so many people I know a lot of people are going to be dealing with this, and I hadn't seen a lot of good tutorials, so hopefully you got something out of that. Again, the biggest thing that I would say that is easy to miss because it's actually not that great in the way that the process goes, make sure you let Cloudflare grab, it's going to save you a ton of time and a ton of headaches. Make sure you let Cloudflare grab your current DNS records from Google Domains in this instance before you change the name servers over, and it can't, get the ones that you're using because you would have changed it at that point. So make sure you do that, because then you have zero downtime. Like the whole process there, the website was up. It changed, kind of how it was proxied through there. It goes from, your old hosting company and then says Cloudflare and goes through there. But it doesn't, you didn't really change the hosting. You just put kind of a middleman in there. So there's zero downtime. There should really be zero problems whatsoever. It's designed to work like that if you do it in the right order. And then from there on, you can, just business as usual. You'd have your domain and you'd have the website protected by Cloudflare. You can still, and I'll make, like I said, the next, part of my journey here is changing hosting and everything. So I'll make more content on that. But I hope you got something out of this. Like I said, hopefully you benefited from the chapters. I know there was a lot of different stuff in here. But if you have any questions, if I didn't explain anything very well, or if I got anything wrong, leave it in the comments down below. Just trying to help as many people as I can with these different topics that we chat about. So thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And I will talk to you in the next one.